India is raising hell against Pakistan over the Pulwama blast. India has alleged that this blast killed 40 Indian soldiers from Indian Army in Kashmir. Blast was alleged to be done by a Kashmiri boy who had been under the arrest of the Indian Army. Soon after this blast, Jaish-e-Mohammed claimed responsibility for this attack. Now India is talking about the innocence of its army officers in Kashmir. However, no one is talking about what the Indian Army is known for in Kashmir. Raping Kashmiri women, abducting Kashmiri youth, blinding the Kashmiri children with pellet guns, committing extrajudicial killings of Kashmiris, cracking down on journalists. Why is no one talking about what these soldiers were doing in Kashmir? Why is no one recalling those officers of Indian Army who ran over their jeeps on Kashmiri youth? Why is no one willing to discuss how many kids of Kashmiris were killed by these Indian soldiers for just trying to do an unarmed protest? The fact that United Nations Security Council just declared the attack on these Indian soldiers heinous without accepting the utmost brutality of the Indian regime in Kashmir proves that United Nations Security Council is not interested in allowing a peaceful solution of Kashmir to even happen. That United Nations has no sympathy for the victims of human rights violations by the Indian Army. That UN took less than a week to pass a major declaration based upon Indian narrative in United Nations Security Council. But UN has failed to pass a single resolution that could confront Indian government's atrocities against Kashmiris in the last 70 years. So tell me, what do you expect the Kashmiris to do? To save their daughters from being raped by these Indian soldiers? To save their children from being blinded by the pellet guns of Indian soldiers? To stop their youth from being abducted by these Indian soldiers? To decelerate the unlabeled mass graveyards that are being erected in Kashmir by these Indian soldiers? This action of United Nations Security Council is a proof that the genocide of Kashmiris by Indian government is very much being committed under complete certification of the United Nations. This is also a proof that UN has an Islamophobia problem. So it remains deaf, mute and blind to the Muslim purge going on right now by Modi in India. Thus, justice in United Nations is only for those committing the Muslim purge in Kashmir and India. Kashmiris have no right of self-defense like any other human being because UN does not consider them as humans. Only the perpetrators of state-sponsored terrorism who thrive on this Muslim purge will label the attempts of Kashmiris to defend themselves against a genocide as terrorism. In short, United Nations Security Council's declaration is not against terrorism. United Nations Security Council declaration is actually in support of state-sponsored terrorism of Modi against the Kashmiris. What to expect if not more conflict, genocide, bloodshed, when those responsible for stopping it have sympathy for oppressors only? If self-defense of Kashmiris against Indian Army's aggression is terrorism, then United Nations is very much responsible for this terrorism. Because if UN had done its job in time impartially to end the genocide of Kashmiris, the Pulwama attack would have never happened.